whom he observes but doesn't dare to talk to. A large portion of the civilian population gives up the military transport in the midst of its route, while the soldiers are dropped straight in the middle of the Battle of Stalingrad. The enemy takes advantage of the fact that they must board approximately to get to the front lines by dropping explosives and starting a fire as soon as they see them. Many soldiers fall, and as they witness this, others leap in the water to escape, only to be shot for deserting. Only one of every 2 soldiers gets a gun at the docks, the other is handed bullets and told to follow the armed soldier. Vasily, who was handed ammunition, narrowly escapes the attack by keeping low and pretending to be dead. Again, escaping soldiers are shot by their own side as cowards and traitors. Soon, the area is filled with corpses, and nobody is living until a vehicle attempts to pass it. A tank shell strikes it and pushes it over, and Commissar Danilov hurries to hide in a fountain, claiming to be another victim in a pile. He miraculously survives when Germans drive by and fire at the bodies to make sure there aren't many survivors. Danilov steals a rifle from one of the victims and attempts to kill some troops in a neighboring building, but it's empty. Danilov learns he's not alone in the fountain. Vasily has also been hiding, and he begs for his rifle so he may use the bullet he was given. Vasily advises Danilov to wait for an explosion to shoot so they aren't detected, but Danilov's skill with guns is limited, so he gives Vasily the rifle. As another car of soldiers approaches, Vasily hides behind a hole in the fountain wall and accurately shoots each German in the head. Danilov produces leaflets about Vasily's brave act once they are rescued and return to headquarters. Nikita Khrushchev arrived several days later to organize the defense of Stalingrad, a symbol of Stalin's dominance they couldn't afford to lose. After hearing about another defeat, he demands suggestions from his subordinates to boost morale, but most soldiers merely repeat the same efficient methods they've used for years. Danilov disagrees. Instead of punishment, he wants hope. As the perfect hero to encourage people to safeguard the nation, Danilov is promoted to senior lieutenant for his suggestions. The publication now features Vasily as a role model. He's been promoted to sniper division. From that point on, every issue of the army newspaper and every booklet that would find its way all over the walls of the country would include a story about Vasily's achievements. During one of Vasily's missions, Sasha Filippov, a supporter, finds him in his squad. His mother, Mrs. Filippov, cooks him supper as gratitude for everything he's done for their country. Soon after they arrive, Danilov comes with letters from Vasily's admirers. Danilov has Vasily react to all of them to keep up with his plan of hope and propaganda, but he advises Vasily on what to write and helps him with spelling. Tanya, Sasha's trained sister, and local militia private come after they begin. She's proficient in German from college. Danilov wants to recruit her because they need more German-speaking troops, but Tanya would rather remain and fight. Danilov convinces her to cooperate by offering a dozen troops for every German speaker she decodes. The German army is suffering from Vasily and his squad of snipers, so they call Major Erwin Koenig, commander of the German Army Sniper Academy at Sossin. Koenig is entrusted with murdering Vasily, so he makes Vasily come to him. Vasily gets awakened from a snooze by his squad because of department store issues. Vasily shoots a shadow, and a helmet falls, so he leads Ludmila to discover a body. After they depart, their friend is shot. The duo sneaks inside the department store and approaches the window to uncover a sniper mannequin. Vasily knows their opponent is still observing them when he sees a cigarette butt. As jets attack the location, Ludmila becomes afraid and flees away, allowing Koenig the opportunity to kill her, but Vasily escapes before he can do the same to him. Sasha, who appears to be an innocent bystander, cleans Koenig's shoes in exchange for food so the major would trust him and divulge his location. When the Red Army finds that the Germans are using Koenig, they call over his old student Kulikov to assist Vasily in assassinating him. Vasily must attend a party before returning to the field. After greeting Tanya, Khrushchev drags him to visit the media, answer questions, take photographs, and gaze at a large Stalin mural since he's constantly looking over his nation. Vasily remembers the day his grandpa taught him to shoot again. He missed his first shot, allowing a wolf to devour their horse. Some days later, Vasily, Kulikov, and another sniper team member, Volodya, enter an abandoned building where they have been told they can find Koenig. As they sneak around as carefully as possible, they find a body in a shooting position, posed like the last trap. This means they're on the right track. After crossing an open area and luckily avoiding all bullets from the enemy, they manage to shoot 2 different repair guys before it's time for dinner. Volodya leaves his partners for a moment to retrieve the soup he had been heating in another room but gets captured in the way. Koenig and his team try to make him confess where Vasily is hiding, but since Volodya won't talk, they dress him up as their own and send him out to pretend he's another repair guy. Without knowing who it really is, Kulikov immediately kills him, revealing their location on purpose, so when he makes a helmet appear at the window, the enemy will shoot it and reveal their location as well. Koenig doesn't fall for the trap, so the duo decides to relocate, but when they jump an open section of a floor, Koenig takes the chance and shoots Kulikov while Vasily escapes safely. This constant chase between Vasily and Koenig is taking too long, and an impatient Khrushchev is starting to get on Danilov's back. After their meeting, Danilov goes to see Tanya, brings her a gift, and tries to court her, but she surprises him by asking to be reassigned. Some hours later, Vasily returns to headquarters, and his mood isn't the best. He's never seen a shot like he's seen today and thinks Koenig may be too good for him to beat. Danilov promises him they're getting new intel and that next time, Vasily will be one or perhaps even more steps ahead of him, so he has nothing to worry about. But he does ask for a favor in return. He wants Vasily to talk to Tanya and convince her not to ask for that transfer. When Vasily tries to do so, Tanya explains that she asked to be transferred because earlier in the morning, she learned her parents were among a group of prisoners that were executed by the Germans, and she wanted to go there and fight. Understanding her need for revenge, Vasily gives her Kulikov's rifle. After Sasha shares information with both of them, Koenig and Vasily go to the same abandoned building, thinking they will surprise the other. While Koenig waits at an elevated platform, Vasily and his sniper partner enter through and hide behind the pipes, the shaking of which alerts Koenig of their position. As soon as the duo tries to move, Koenig shoots them, causing Vasily to lose his rifle and his companion to get hurt. Vasily sends his partner back to headquarters since he can't do anything in that state, and while the sniper makes his way back into the pipe, Vasily tries to recover his rifle by tying some rope to a knife and throwing it at the weapon to drag him towards him, but when he finally manages to land it correctly, Koenig cuts the rope with an easy shot. When some German planes fly by dropping some bombs, they shatter the glass roof, and some of the shards fall in front of Vasily, giving Koenig a full view of his face. At headquarters, Danilov is trying to convince Tanya not to fight, that her skills are more valuable in the intellectual field. Their argument is interrupted by the returning sniper, who tells them what happened. Tanya doesn't hesitate to go through the same pipe route to reach him in order to help, but as soon as he sees her, Vasily tells her to stay where she is and follows his plan. The same way Koenig has been watching through the glass, Vasily has also used a shard to watch him in return, and thanks to this, he knows his location. He asks Tanya to grab another piece of glass and turn it until the light reflects on it and blinds Koenig, creating an opening for Vasily to safely recover his rifle and shoot him. He doesn't manage to kill Koenig but hurts his hand. Later, when Vasily and Tanya return to headquarters, they celebrate being alive with the rest soldiers, and afterward, they hide under the covers and make love right in the middle of the communal bedroom. The next morning, Vasily asks Danilov to stop writing about him. He can't carry this weight on his shoulders anymore, and he wants to fight as a regular soldier. Danilov doesn't accept this and manipulates Vasily into feeling bad for even asking. He brings over Sasha, who shows him how proud he is for having gotten intel from Koenig. With the kid looking at him with much hope in his eyes, Vasily can't say no, and he allows Sasha to guide him to the area where Koenig will be waiting. The ground is covered with bodies, so Vasily hides among them and proceeds to wait for Koenig to show up. There's an issue, however, he spends so much time waiting there that he falls asleep. When Koenig finally sees him from his hiding spot, he is about to shoot him, only to suddenly see a looting soldier appear between them, moving Vasily's body as if he were dead and easily stealing all his belongings. The German army captures this soldier and finds he stole Vasily's ID, which makes them think Vasily is dead. Koenig doesn't agree, but he's dismissed anyway. Refusing to go home while Vasily may still be out there, Koenig talks to Sasha again and, already suspecting what may be happening, tells him his next location. At the Russian headquarters, Khrushchev finds out the Germans are passing around the news of Vasily's death and gets furious at Danilov, who doesn't believe it. Khrushchev doesn't care if it's true or not. He wants Danilov to do his writing magic and convince the public everything is fine. Danilov attempts to talk to Tanya about visiting his home, but loudspeakers announce Vasily's death. Danilov is about to reveal Vasily's heroism when the guy returns. He says that he fell asleep and had to hide from a guy attempting to murder him, so Danilov transfers him. Then Vasily asks about Tanya, and Sasha says he informed her he was alive, so she went to the authorities to seek vengeance on Koenig. Danilov and Vasily race to the station to rescue her, but Vasily and Tanya kiss, making Danilov envious. When he returns to headquarters, he instead reports Vasily's valor as a traitor. Koenig had seen them at the station and knows Sasha has passed on the information, so he hangs the youngster to trap Vasily. Tanya nearly falls for it when she sees the corpse, but Vasily stops her, explaining that's what he wants. Plan made. While Vasily goes for him, Tanya urges Danilov to help her get Mrs. Filipov out of the country. Mrs. Filipov doesn't want to go without Sasha, so they inform her he joined the Germans. Mrs. Filipov doesn't blame him if he's safe and agrees to go. On the way to the boat, a bomb explodes near them, hurting Tanya. Danilov thinks she's died and leaves, but Mrs. Filipov doesn't get up and convinces a doctor to let Tanya board with her by showing her special pass and saying Tanya is her daughter. Vasily and Koenig are at a standoff in their respective hiding spots, not knowing where the other is. Danilov suddenly shows up next to Vasily, and now that Tanya is dead, he thinks he has nothing else to live for, and humanity isn't worth saving. To make up for the lies he made about Vasily, he sacrifices himself and comes out of hiding so Koenig can shoot him and reveal his location. Vasily thinks ahead and doesn't immediately react, so now Koenig thinks he's killed Vasily himself and comes out to check the body. Vasily is waiting for him midway, and as soon as he aims his rifle at him, Koenig takes off his hat and accepts his fate.